From big reds to exquisite whites made from unique grapes, you'll find them in the Rhône. Join creative Fabien and I for a spin through this part of southern France. We'll hunt down great terroirs, find wine, and meet the people behind the bottles. Our last spin together through France starts right now.
But then we divorce. 15 of September.
It's morning in the Southern Rhône, and Fabien needs some drone footage. Everything looks great, but then the Mistral starts. This northerly wind rips through the Rhône, and it wants Fabien's drone.
You see how risky it can be because of the wind. 10%.
Fabien looks calm, but he's anything but. You got it!
Made it! Almost lost 2,000 euro in fucking vineyards. Crazy shit, just for one shot.
Montirius is a biodynamic estate. A few years ago, Fabien spent a few months here helping in the cellar and with the harvest. I must say I'm pretty darn excited to taste these wines because Fabien goes on and on and on about them.
Bonjour Fabien!
It's not coffee, it's from the oak tree.
Yes, so ingredient, chicory, rye, barley.
The corn, là on va dire c'est des semi-vagues.
Not bad. It has kind of a nutty flavor.
Like in the morning we drink only water.
100% biodynamic, right?
For 25 years. And we have changed our way of living 30 years ago. We are connecting our vibes right now, you know, because you are here. Even with a screen, we can feel the vibes of the others. We have 68 hectares, mainly Vaqueras and Gigondas appellation.
60-something hectares, so it's like 300,000 bottles or so.
150,000 bottles.
So really well.
When everything is okay. Of course, you are totally right with the volume we could produce. But what we look is what the vines, each feet, can produce, you know, to be in balance, to have the grapes mature when the cycle of the plant is finished.
You have such good presence. I feel like I'm talking to you for a half an hour, and I look at the screen, and it only says like 2 or 3 minutes. It's a compliment when you have somebody that's so present.
All we do here, we do with heart, and if we don't feel that it's good now for our estate, we don't do it.
Harvest is approaching, and Christine gives us a little education.
We're walking on the Plateau des Garrigues. This is the beginning of the appellation, the beginning of the plateau, and that direction, this is Vaqueras appellation. Disappear with my hand. This is a yeast. This is a natural yeast. It's very important for us to make the alcoholic fermentation. East sun, west sun.
East in the summers, which would
Better.
Okay.
You see the differences between one side and the other side.
It's much cooler.
Exactly. It's not completely ready today. You see, you have like a jelly around, and you have a green color. They are green. The maximum we like is when it's all brown. You have to separate the skin, the pulp, and the seeds.
That brown seed is pretty good. It literally tastes like the cereal grape nuts. In the cellar, we meet Christine's husband Eric and her daughter Justine.
We wanted to respect each step. And if you taste the wine here, and if you taste the wine after the bottling, you have the same wine. Because it's not pushed, you know.
We've gotten a crash course. Now it's time to see where the rubber meets the road. Let's taste. Burbling, Grenache.
50%, white Grenache and Mistral.
Rhône whites are just not generic white wine, for sure.
You really need to taste it to understand the name, Mineral. It's very...
I was gonna say, Mineral is aptly named.
This shows definitely that a great wine can age without wood.
Bad choice on bringing me here.
Really? You understand why I brought you here?
I haven't tasted the reds yet, but they already get like screaming approval from me. Côte de Rhône can be a cheap wine, but it also can be exceptional. These are not the supermarket Côte de Rhônes you're getting. Oh. Now on to the Vaqueras wines. This is a cru village in the Southern Rhône that flies under the radar. They often offer terrific value for money. So you can drink the whole bottle, right?
A Magnum I can drink easy.
This is where freshness actually makes sense because there's so much acidity that you could drink this during the summer. And the Gigondas, another cru of the Southern Rhône. It's so leathery. This is the type of Grenache wine Southern Rhône can fool people with Like
Definitely.
a mature Burgundy type, like
Yeah.
the same type of flavors.
This is impressive. So fine, so elegant.
When you have fine wine, it's the intensity on the mid palate.
Imagine this one with the onglet.
From, that we had the other night. Woo!
Gigondas.
We head to the village of Gigondas, but it's been a dry summer, so there are fire hazards in the vineyards.
Oh, the fire could get crazy.
With the Mistral, from the moment it's too dry, and especially now the harvest are starting, villages are locked down.
We can't get any shots of the vineyards, so we head over to the nearby cellar, Domaine les Goubert. The winemaker and owner Florence greets us. This small winery produces about 60,000 bottles per year, their flagship wine being the Gigondas. But they also produce wines from lesser-known villages in the Southern Rhône. There are 17 crus of Côte de Rhône, and Sablet is one of them.
Sablet first.
About 80% of Claret, and then Roussanne, Bourboulenc and Viognier.
The Viognier comes out. I know it's just a dash, but
And it is quite an important volume on the Southern Rhône Valley to have such an important quantity of white. And as an aperitif, the white Sablet is perfect.
now on to the red Sablet, which really impresses me.
Grenache, Syrah and Mourvèdre.
It's more on the freshness.
Yeah,
It's more on the lighter side.
It actually smells really nice, to be honest. Obviously, it smells more complex than the Côte de Rhône because it's the Côte de Rhône village. I'm actually a big fan of that. Plenty of fruit, but it's peppery. It's got some tannin too. Beumes-de-Venise is a cru known for sweet wine.
Grenache, Syrah, Cinsault.
Oh, okay.
Beumes-de-Venise is an appellation just next door to Gigondas, and you have just two colors, the red Beumes-de-Venise and the white sweet muscat Beumes-de-Venise.
I think people get confused because with Côte de Rhône, like obviously, as it being a cheap wine. And I think more people would like to drink Côte de Rhône Village, but they're just so confused. I actually really enjoy it. It's just lots of red fruit, pepper. Florence asks a little bit about me.
The winemaker, Florence, she was asking what's the program for this week. I said we are sharing the same places with Matthew, so we kind of just getting married for a few weeks, but then we divorce.
Next is the Gigondas. This cru village is nearly as well regarded as Chateauneuf de Pape. Tastes like Gigondas.
Yes, it is Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre, Cinsault and Claret.
Good Southern Rhône reds are like such a good mix of red fruits, but turning into black fruits without being plummy.
Do you think that Gigondas can age as long as Chateauneuf or?
Definitely yes, both can age very well. I'm convinced that Gigondas and Chateauneuf are made for sure with Grenache, and it's a grape, just pure Grenache or blended with something else, needs time to express very well.
I would think that Gigondas just ages better with more acidity and altitude. I don't like Chateauneuf so old, to be honest. I like Chateauneuf younger.
I agree what you say because Gigondas is my wine, it's my heart, it's my passion. The best is to say Gigondas or Chateauneuf du Pape, the best bottle is the one you enjoy, you share with friends, whatever the appellation.
100 miles to the north is a site that's akin to a pilgrimage for wine geeks.
So here we're in the village of Hermitage, and over there, in my back, you got the Hermitage, one of the best terroirs in France.
With only 136 hectares of planted vines, the wines of Hermitage rank amongst some of the greatest and rarest in the world. Even former US President Thomas Jefferson was an admirer. From the top, there's a palpable serenity. It almost feels spiritual. Us wine geeks are strange people. There's certain parts of the world that are like a pilgrimage for us, and Hermitage for me is definitely one of those spots. The red wines of this cru are made from Syrah, while the whites can have Marsanne and Roussanne. One of my most memorable wines is a Chave Red Hermitage. We don't have time to visit a cellar, but there's always next time. At least we can soak in the amazing views. From the top of the hill and across the river, we can see two other important Syrah-based crus, Saint-Joseph and Cornas, which we'll taste soon. The Northern Rhône is known for big prices and small quantities of wine, but Croz's Hermitage is still relatively affordable. I'm excited because we're going to a cellar I've always wanted to visit, Domaine Les Bruyères is a natural winery that farms biodynamically. The proprietor, David Reynaud, meets us and we take a look at his grapes.
He's part of the Biodynamic group.
David keeps the cellar meticulously clean with as little intervention as possible.
Basically, if you do proper biodynamic, you just use boiling water, like very hot water. It's more than enough. You don't need to use chemicals. Do you smell vinegar? No. It smells clean.
We head down to the cellar, and I spot this odd hexagon-shaped vessel.
Yeah, the shape inside is not like this. It's more like a pebble. You know, you get this like movements always.
We taste the components of David's flagship wine.
Tasting parts of the same wine, younger vine in a big concrete egg, a little bit older in amphora and a big oak cask.
Tannins from Northern Rhône Syrah are chewy. They're so much different than any other Syrah, I think. Wow. True Syrah is like a acquired taste. Might be difficult for some people at first, but then you become addicted to it, I think. Great winemakers are meticulous in their approach, like top chefs. We taste another component of David's wine aged in amphora.
I mean, you can tell it's older vine because it's richer, right?
It's richer, it has more energy, more density. They just taste and taste and taste. He's gonna check those plots and then he's gonna prepare his calendar for the next plot from those plots.
David makes a couple of cru wines too.
Just two of the reds go into the oak. And then he does a bit of Saint-Joseph and Cornas where he put a tiny bit of oak.
Oh, he makes a Cornas too.
Yeah. Ooh. You get the oak there, it's very elegant. Baking spices. You got almost this like sweetness when you pull out cinnamon buns from the oven.
Syrah for me is one of the few red grapes that can take a lot of oak really well.
I'm not leaving this cellar without tasting some Cornas.
Cornas, you need to work hard to get it right. It's very tiny grapes. It's a lot of reduction. You need to be very, very gentle. Extraction, everything needs to be very, very gentle. Because if you overdo it, you kill it in a way.
Have you tasted the Cornas before?
No.
A little bit more rustic, a little bit
More rustic,
more tough. Yeah, corn. This does smell like corn. But I think what people don't realize about Syrah is they always associate with really black fruit. But Northern Rhône Syrah has like this red raspberry, black raspberry flavor.
This is the shit.
We head upstairs to taste wines from the bottle, including the Georges Crozes Hermitage.
The George in the bottle is a big step up. Amphora food, barrel, eggs, everything we tasted together. It's amazing to have that kind of vision. All those little parcels, those little different aging vessels to put that together to have a vision for what you want to create. It's got everything you want in Syrah. Black raspberry, it's got some meat, some pepper, and it's got that tangerine, the citrusy acidity in the back end.
I fucking love it. It's like a big, big boy, but with so much elegance and finesse.
We move on to the Old Vines Crozes Hermitage and the Cornas.
Yeah, only wine geeks know Cornas. Start to get meat and animal. If you get a chance to taste Cornas, sometimes some Côte Rôtie, they have flavors that you just never expected Syrah to taste like, right? Nebbiolo tannin stings, it's so small and stings. Wood tannin coats, and then Syrah is in between.
I highly recommend these wines. Whether it's the Southern Rhône or the Northern Rhône, you'll be spoiled for fine wine. This is the last stop in France for Fabien and I, but don't fret. There's one more grand adventure for both of us. Stay tuned to the channel for more.